Kaiju number 8 has been out for 6 weeks as of today of me writing the script. To be honest, I don't know if I've been looking in all the wrong places, but I expected this series to be talked about a lot more. One discussion I have been seeing about this series has to do with the main character Kafka. If you haven't heard of Kaiju number 8, let me give you a quick rundown of the series real quick before we get into the main topic of the video. If you want me to give you the short and sweet answer, people will say Kaiju number 8 is just Attack on Titan, but the main characters have the technology to fight back. Yes, these series have a good amount of similarities, like Kafka and Eren being able to turn into the monsters they fight against, both worlds having an organization that takes down these monsters for humanity, and both of the main characters start out very average compared to their peers. The long answer is Kaiju number 8 is set in a world where giant monsters known as Kaiju frequently attack cities, and specialized defense forces are tasked with combating these threats. Kafka is a 32-year-old man who has long aspired to join the defense force but ended up working for the Kaiju cleanup crew instead. However, his life takes a dramatic turn when he mysteriously gains the ability to turn into a Kaiju himself, which leads to him being labeled Kaiju number 8 by the defense force. Kafka joins the defense force to fight Kaiju while hiding a secret. He teams up with his childhood friend Mina. She's ranked as one of the top officers in the series. If you like Attack on Titan or Shonen in general, I think you should give the series a try. I think Kaiju number 8 does a good job of being similar to Attack on Titan, but it's still its own story. I don't mean to say this in a negative way, but Kaiju number 8 feels like a dumbed down version of Attack on Titan, but it's still really good. Now, with all that out the way, let's talk about Kafka as a character. Let's see if what the people are saying about him is true, or are some people not understanding his character. The first point that I want to touch on is Kafka's character. I see that a lot of people are over the underdog story for a main character, which I think Kaiju number 8 did a really good job with switching the underdog trope that most series do. How often do we get to see a main character in a shonen genre who is 32 years old? He clearly is not a typical shonen MC, and I thought that would work in Kafka's favor. For example, for Kafka to give up his dream and live a normal life is not something we really get to see in shonen MCs. Luffy would rather die than give up on his dream of being the king of the pirates. Kafka is by far one of the most down-to-earth main characters I have ever seen in shonen anime. Again, he is a 32-year-old man who had a dream and couldn't succeed, and had to decide to move on. What's even cooler is that we see the mental toll it takes on him. Of course he wants to be a part of the defense force, but things just happen. That's just life. Not everything goes in your way. For example, my dream is to make this YouTube thing a career and make a living off of this, but you never know. Not everything is 100% certain. A lot of people have dreams, and sadly, not all dreams work out. And some people work harder than other people, and the person who works less sometimes gets that dream, and the person who works harder doesn't. That's just how life is. In my opinion, I feel like it would be worse if Kafka was a 32-year-old man running around acting like Luffy, Asta, or Naruto. I think a lot of people would be side-eyeing Kafka. Maybe that's just me though, because I tend to like the more realistic, down-to-earth characters like Nanami, Chisei, and Eren. Another problem I see people talk about is Kafka's personality. People say they try to make Kafka different by making him older, but he acts goofy just like the other main characters that I talked about before. First off, I didn't know once you hit a certain age you lose the ability of being goofy or funny. Kafka is just a goofy guy, and that's okay. Also, Kafka's level of goofy is not on the same level as other main shonen protagonists. Let's make that clear. He is nowhere near close to Luffy's wackiness or Naruto's outgoingness and like all these other characters who are super goofy. Like, you cannot compare Kafka to like Goku level of goofy. Like, it's completely different things. To me, Kafka's humor reminds me of that uncle that comes to the cookout 3 hours late, makes 4 to-go plates, dances, talks about his dreams about going to the NBA, then leaves. Sorry, that moment sounded a little personal because some type of unks be pissing me off. Back on topic though. I think Kafka, even though he is older, he has a younger spirit, especially when it comes to his passion. Let me explain that. When someone has a dream, you can tell that they are really passionate about it in a way that turns them into a younger version of themselves. Being joyful, talking about their passion, it doesn't matter how old you are. People tend to do that. People have to remember when Kafka joins the defense force, he is in his early 30s. And he's finally able to live his dream. This is something that he's been wanting to do since he was a little kid. Him and Mina set this goal. I don't think they really told us exactly what age they were, but they seemed like they were around like 7 to 10. So he's been wanting this dream for 20 plus years. Imagine you are working for something for 20 plus years and you finally get it. It doesn't matter how old you are. You could have been 50, 70. I think you would be really excited and just as happy as Kafka. Also, Kafka is not used to a sudden change in his lifestyle like the rest of his peers. We can confidently assume that majority of people in the defense force have been training for this moment all their life. So this is nothing new to them. When it comes to Kafka, I would assume after he kept on failing, he slowly gave up and never thought he would be in this situation. A better example of this is the bathhouse scene. When Kafka is in the bathhouse with all his peers, they're all flexing with each other, right? Kafka tries to join in so he can be included. He embarrassed himself, but in that moment, we can see Kafka doesn't want to be lesser. He knows that in the situation he's not like everybody else and he doesn't want to be looked down on, and he wants to show people that he can bring something to the table even though he's basically an anomaly to these people. He's a 32-year-old man. All these people are really young and he's not physically fit like them, all this stuff. But he still made it to the position that they're in. Last point I want to make is people talking about how overpowered his kaiju form is. This section I would try to be as spoiler free as possible. So far in the anime, it really does seem like Kafka can't be stopped. He turns into a kaiju form and then the whole situation turns into easy mode because he one-shots the kaijus. In the fights he has been in so far, it's more of the possibility of him getting caught than him fighting. We all know his kaiju form is so strong he would be just fine. To the people that are anime only fans, I can see how this is really annoying. If I didn't read the manga before the anime came out, I would be saying the same thing as you guys. All I can say is trust me, the story gets better and it's just not Kafka one-shotting everybody. I think I know how season 1 will end, and if I'm correct, I think a lot of the doubters of Kaiju number 8 will change their mind. While I was writing the script, I think I came to one conclusion. Maybe Kafka's age is working against him. Something that I thought was cool because it wasn't typical. It feels like a lot of people have this idea of what a 32-year-old man should act like and forget at the end of the day, this is a shonen manga for young boys. So of course some aspects of these characters will be goofy and silly. I think the creator tried to do a good job of having a balance of both making a character that age and showing the audience that he is a regular guy, but I think that might have been a bad move for some people. At the end of the day, this is all just subjective. But I just feel like some people don't really understand why a character is a certain way. I feel like people just truly need to make up their minds. Do you want Kafka to be different from other MCs, or do you want Kafka to be the same as other MCs? I think it's fine for a character to have a good balance of both, and I think that's what Kafka brings to the table. He is in some aspects the same as certain MCs, which I don't really agree with. He's just goofy. And I think that's just a characteristic that people have in life, and it's not really just him copying other MCs. And his age, I think, is really cool. Like I keep on saying before, he's just a normal guy, and I think that's different and cool that we don't get to see a lot in shonen media. As I'm writing this script, I'm realizing that I sound like the biggest Kafka defender ever, and I might get some comments saying that about me, but it's fine. I just don't like when people try to nitpick certain things. The point of this video is I feel like people aren't giving Kafka a fair shot. And maybe it's the writer's fault, but you guys let me know down below how you guys feel about Kafka in the comment section. I would love to have conversations with all you guys and see your perspectives and really pick your guys' brains and see if Kafka is a good main character or not to you guys. That's all from me, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.